Kia ora, and welcome to Friday's Economy Watch, where we follow the economic events and trends that affect Aotearoa. I'm David Chaston, and this is the international edition from interest.co.nz. And today we lead with news that the currency markets, bond markets and equity markets all react to unexpectedly strong US data releases overnight, much of it sceptical. In fact, we're getting risk aversion questioning its believability. US initial jobless claims came in last week at just over 180,000 and less than expected, and less than seasonal factors would have anticipated. There are now 1.728 million people on these benefits, still 100,000 more than at the same time last year. And new orders for manufacturing durable goods rose marginally in August from July following two consecutive monthly decreases. That puts them a good 5.4% higher than year-ago levels. But non-defence, non-aircraft capital goods orders were low in the month, up just 1.6% from a year ago. And it seems clear boardrooms are not enthusiastic investors at this point. This data is far more positive than the regional Fed factory surveys are picking up, so we'll need to wait before we conclude reshoring is actually happening. And the September factory survey from the Kansas City Fed described only a modest change in factories in their region. Order backlogs reduced, as did new orders for export. In fact, US exports fell 1.4% in August in updated trade data, while imports fell 5.6%. That narrowed their trade deficit, but only to the level it was in June and not materially different from August a year ago. So it's hard to see much progress here in shrinking this. But the final US GDP result for the June quarter came in with a huge revision higher, up 3.8% from a year ago. This was apparently driven by a decrease in imports and an increase in consumer spending, offset by decreases in investment and exports. There was a one-off revision to the consumer spending data in this release, which twisted things somewhat. Again, this is hard to reconcile with the real-time, high-frequency data we saw in the second quarter, but this is what they're reporting. If the Fed accepts this GDP data, rate cuts there are likely to be pushed further away. Meanwhile, August data on existing home sales actually dipped in August. In Canada, they reported average weekly earnings for July, and they're up 3.3% to $1,308 from a year ago, following a 3.6% increase in June. And staying in Canada, their federal government has instructed Canada Post to end door-to-door postal delivery. In China, the yuan has appreciated to its highest level in nearly 10 months against the American dollar, as concerns over frictions between the two world's largest economies subside, and China's economic growth prospects remain steady. In Taiwan, after 4 consecutive months of decreases, their reported retail sales rose in August from a year ago. That data is modest compared with their booming industrial sector, as we noticed yesterday, though. And perhaps we should also note that the Swiss central bank left its policy rate unchanged at 0% in an overnight review. Switzerland has inflation running at just 0.2% per year. Container freight rates fell faster last week, down 8% for the week to be a massive 55% lower than year-ago levels, and it was again outbound rates from China that is driving this retreat. But bulk freight rates actually rose again last week by 2.9% to be 10.5% higher than year-ago levels. The US Treasury 10-year yield is now at 4.17%, up 2 basis points from yesterday at this time. And the price of gold will start today at $3,739 an ounce, up just $6 from yesterday. But silver is moving higher and is up over $45 an ounce. American oil prices a little changed at just under $65 a barrel, while the international Brent price is just over $69 a barrel. And the Kiwi dollar is now just on 57.6 US cents, down another 50 basis points from yesterday, and that's its lowest level since mid-April. Against the Aussie, though, we're just down 10 basis points at 88.2 Australian cents and near a 3-year low. Against the euro, we're actually unchanged at 49.5 euro cents. That all means our trade-weighted index starts today at just over 65.2 and down another 30 basis points. And the Bitcoin price starts today at $108,928 and down 4.3% from yesterday at this time. Volatility over the past 24 hours has again been moderate at just over plus or minus 2.3%. You can get more news affecting the economy in New Zealand from interest.co.nz. Kia ora, I'm David Chaston. We'll do this again on Monday.